Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another post-game podcast here at the Missing Wolves. We got another win to talk about, which I'm joined by one person again from last night in Matt, and then Phil Hasselman joining from the Minnesota Please Understand Sports podcast. I'm going to add the sports part again. Please, you guys don't add it because then your acronym is just going to be way too many letters. But how are you guys doing? How's it going, Matt?
Good to be back. Yeah, back like we never left. Another dub. Hey, can get used to this, right?
Oh, 100%. Phil, how have you been, man? I haven't talked to you in probably a couple months now.
Yeah, pretty good. Maybe a Wolves preview last time I saw you, but yeah, it's been going well. Nice to get some wins in this state. They're sometimes hard to come by, so we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I'm not a huge hockey person, but it sounds like they are malign, not great, not terrible. The Twins not doing too good, and the Vikings pretty frustrating loss against the Ravens. So at least we have the Wolves now, which I never thought I'd say. I mean, good grief, banking on the Wolves to be the ones that are going to lead Minnesota out of the darkness has never been anything but. Wolves win over Utah here tonight. Ant has another 35-point performance. I feel like, Matt, you and I talked about it enough last night just with Ant's performance. But Phil, what have you been kind of noticing with Ant over the last, really since he's come back from injury? He's stacked together some pretty good games here.
Yeah, I think the next game, I don't like to throw a game out, but it was kind of one of those ones where he comes back and where's the identity? When he was out, we started to move the ball around a little bit better. It was just kind of flowing better. So it was like, well, how does he fit back in? You get done with that next game. And since then, he's just been pro's pro. The defense really ramps up when he's leading the way playing defense, when he's fully engaged. It's a completely different team. So it's great to see. And it just seems like he's really going up to that next level.
Yeah, he hit a couple of those, like one of them just like a crossover mid-range shot, and then he hit another one where he was kind of like almost got stuck and then somehow created space with a pivot and drilled another mid-range. His defense was fantastic tonight. Matt, you said it yesterday. He's starting to cement himself as a clear top 5 player. Yeah. But again, when you're stacking these type of games together, he might be stacking together an MVP case. Is that in the realm?
I'm not going to rule it out. I'll have to take a gander at some of the odds on that as well. There's some stiff competition, but just that third quarter, like that's what you want to see out of a top 5 guys. Like, hey, back to back. Things started out pretty rocky, even for him, kind of similar to that Sacramento game the other night. Just didn't really get started, too hot. But it's like, nope, we're not losing tonight, guys. Sorry, I'll just take this over in the third quarter. I don't know, he had 20 plus points in the third quarter. We're kind of fortunate almost to be only down what we were down at half. I think we were down 4. And then we come right out that first possession. I'm like, I don't know if I love that shot. And he just nails it. And I'm like, all right, buckle up. And then he just took the game over. And it was like, all right, nobody can handle him. And you could see it too, like on the defensive end, like you said, the energy level. And that stuff is contagious with this guy. He's contagious in a lot of ways like that, with like building up other guys' confidence. But yeah, you could see the defense. It's like, all right, let's maybe ease our way into this game, see how things are going. It's got to be tough playing a back-to-back, traveling like that. And so, they didn't have their best stuff right away. And then he starts digging in. It reminded me that play at half court where he picked Jamal Murray. He tried to do that again to Keontae George. It went out of bounds, and I don't know how Ant didn't hit it, but you could just see his reaction to that play too. And you're like, all right, we're done playing around with this team. And that third quarter was just like a professional effort where we're just not going to have this type of a loss happen this season where we've seen it in the past. And so to me, that really stood out from him.
Just to go through his third quarter, 21 points, 7 of 9 shooting, 3 of 5 from 3, a block, no turnovers, despite playing all 12 minutes. And I mean, his Robin, Julius Randle, 11 points in that third quarter too, which I mean, I just feel like it's another game where we're sitting here looking at a Julius Randle near triple double, 27, 8 and 7. He was a game high plus 22. I mean, Phil, how impressive has Julius Randle been to you this season? Because we talked about a lot about it last night, but I'm running out of adjectives.
Yeah, he's I've been known on our pod as the Julius Randle stan, which I never thought a year ago I would be in that position. But I don't even think like numbers for him are the biggest factor, because he's averaged, I think he's at 25, 7 and 6 for the season, and he's put up numbers close to that in his career.
Yeah.
But I think like just the casual fans will just put Julius in this category, kind of like how they do with Rudy. I know you guys were talking about him last night. I think people that just don't watch him don't realize like he's finally comfortable. He's in the middle of his prime. Yeah. I think he's 30 years old only, which is surprising. It seems like he's been around a long time. But you have in Julius and Dante as well, guys that were thrown into a brand new situation with the trade last year. And I think it just speaks volumes to like them and the overall team that they were still able to go to the conference finals. Even with everything not really fully coming together, I think a lot of people outside of like the local fans and media don't really realize or kind of respect how truly difficult that is. And now that they're all on the same page, it's really exciting to watch.
I mean, Julius, he said it in his introductory press conference last year. Like, he's never had his offense as easy than when he had Chris Finch as his offensive coordinator in New Orleans, the Pelicans, not Phoenix. It's not the Phoenix Pelicans. That would make no sense.
Not yet.
But in New Orleans, he was really like, might be the Vegas Pelicans in a couple of years, which I don't know if there's Pelicans in Vegas, but who knows? But like, it's just kind of a testament to, like, I think Chris Finch legitimately really understands Julius and like what he's good at. And then you just have him now where he's going to be on triple double rod. And to your point, Phil, like I have fans that follow my Twitter, like that are New York Knicks fans, and they're just like, oh, this is just same old Julius. This is what he does in the regular season. And it's like, yeah, but I don't think he did it at this level. I mean, I admittedly wasn't watching a ton of New York Knicks games when Julius Randle was their best player, but it really seems different, doesn't it, Matt?
I think so. And again, I'm the same way. I didn't watch a ton other than, sure, playoffs comes around and he had a bad reputation, and some of the stuff I saw I didn't like either, where it seemed like he was maybe quitting on the team or something like that, or maybe not always giving full effort even in a playoff game. But, based on what we're seeing, we can only go off of what we watch on the T-Wolves, and, everything we've seen has been pretty good ever since he came back from injury last year. And that playoff run was very, very impressive up until really the OKC series, which is a tough matchup for him, just mainly turnover wise. But, I'm hoping we can see some improvement on that this year. But yeah, I think, you're talking about him and Rudy, like unless they're on your team, I think most people just kind of have their minds made up about guys like that. And they're just like, whatever, whatever these guys are doing on somebody else's team. Like, I'm not really paying too close attention. But you might start have to pay a little closer attention to what Julius is doing with some of these numbers. And, to me, the biggest difference, I mean, he's just knocking down threes too. Like that to me is like the main differentiator, where when you're making that trade with Carl, you're thinking that's something that you're kind of giving up is some spacing, best big man shooter of all time going out the door, right? How are we going to replace that? But Julius, man, has been really solid, and, he has good form. And I think he's taking good shots too. So I think like the shot diet from three is like, you can live with all these, right? Sometimes it'll be a couple dribbles and a step back, but like for the most part, he's catch and shoot, or maybe a jab step and letting it fly. And, we've seen some good results this year. I know we were talking about the shooting last night in terms of just like how, the offensive efficiency, and sure enough, to start this game, you're like, well, look at how this is going on. But, there's going to be some regression for sure. But, for the most part, I feel like it's pretty sustainable what he's been doing.
what's crazy with Julius, and like I feel like this is more of a media problem than like a fan problem, right? Like one, like he is like in his early 30s and he is just playing a completely different brand of basketball now, which is weird. Like most people don't completely change what's got them to this point when they hit 30. The other thing that's just like you mentioned, Cat going out the door, and he's this big man shooter. And I know that was a conversation on like, it's a conversation I was having at that time. It was on Sports Center. I mean, even like Dane and John Krasinski were talking about it. And like, if you actually go down the numbers, they shoot the same amount of threes per game, like between 7 and 8 most seasons. And Julius was shooting like 4% worse than Cat. That's in the aggregate, Julius missing one more three every 2 or 3 games, which like isn't a huge deal. But I feel like for some reason, especially in the media, we talk about these changes like, oh my gosh, this is going to completely disrupt the entire offense. When in reality, it's like Julius might miss one more three every 3 games, and hopefully it doesn't come when it's close. But unbelievably like happy for that dude, because I know Lakers fans last year in the playoffs were like, who the heck is this guy that the Wolves are throwing out here?
Well, you're saying like he's only 30, right? Like I think he was on a podcast. You know, he did a little media tour when they were in New York this past week. But I saw a couple of clips of it was like, you know, it's like old grandpa, sit on my knee and I'll tell you some stories about Kobe. It's like, that's how like you feel like that, how old that guy is. He's been in the league that long where he was playing with Kobe, but it's like, yeah, you know, he was right out of the gate thrown into that weird Lakers team. But, you know, like I did the same thing as you did, looking at the numbers with him and Cat when the trade went down. And it was weird kind of how similar they were. I mean, and turnovers as well. Some of the negatives were the same too, but and then Julius was kind of like every other year he would have a good season from 3. And now we're kind of seeing a little more consistency in that regard, which sometimes you do see as players get older, they can kind of dial in that jumper a little better. I'm thinking of like Jason Kidd at the end, right? Was a pretty knockdown catch and shoot guy by the end of it all. But I just like his physicality compared to Cat, which we saw in the playoffs. And I know he's going to be on the friggin' floor. He's not in foul trouble. 2 fouls within the first 4 minutes of every game. So to me, that's like the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
And he can get a bucket.
Yeah, exactly. I think with Cat, like there's no doubt that Cat is probably a more skilled player. Like he just, like he has better footwork. He has a little bit better handle. But Julius just has that kind of it factor where, I mean, I wouldn't want to mess with him. I don't think anyone in the league wants to mess with Julius. And then he drops that shoulder and just hits you in the chest. And there's not a lot of players that can stand up to it, which that translates perfect for postseason, which is kind of weird, Phil, that he had this reputation of being like this terrible postseason player, even though he was injured for most of the postseason runs, and I think had like one actual bad one. Professor mentions here in the chat of, if you offered me Julius for Cat and said I will give you Dante too, I take that trade 100% of the time. I mean,
yeah,
fair. But Phil, I mean, what do you think about that trade now, kind of a year and change later?
Well, I think that we all agreed on our pod that we thought the trade was the right trade. You know, the timing was weird on it, but as far as the money goes, as far as the compensation goes, like the guy just mentioned, Julius and Dante, and we ended up getting Detroit's pick, which turns into Yohan. And, you know, we'll obviously see on him, but it just seemed like the right move had to be done. And, you know, we were just talking the differences between the two. Julius, I'm more confident, number one, is going to be in the game. And number two, if I have to go to him, he's going to be able to get me a bucket. And that's not, you know, we love Carl here. Like, I'm not trying to hate on Carl, but like he's got a certain spaz factor at times. And for $60 million, that's not worth it to me when you can get equal production for half the price.
I mean, that's the crazy thing, right? Stray voltage. Right. That's what Finch used to. I was trying to think of it, but like that's the crazy thing, right? Like they trade Cat for Julius, Dante, and Johan, which I feel like I mean, I'll be honest, I don't mention Johan in that trade, but maybe we should start. Like, he's intriguing at least. But then also they were able to re-sign Naz Reid because of that trade. Because like if it's Cat, you're probably getting Nikhil and that's it probably out of last season. And Naz is walking, which I know Naz has had a subpar season to his standards. Hopefully, as he gets more in shape, body, soul, mentally, all of it, he kind of turns it on. But like, I mean, when you're looking at that trade, it kind of, in hindsight, is another like Tim Connolly fleecing. I mean, it's crazy how Tim Connolly's able to just continue to pull these things out of nowhere and be right about it.
Yeah, I mean, you were saying the timing was weird, which obviously it was, right before the season, but like that, just having that second apron thrown into everybody's face, it's like, well, all right, now we got to do something, right? So I feel like I don't think that was necessarily the original roadmap, but he found a way out of it to really continue to have a nice roster and a deep roster as well. But I don't think the Knicks are really like feeling too bad either, right? It's one of those trades where I think it is working out for both parties. Cat's kind of a good 1A, I guess you'd call him, with Brunson. I mean, Brunson just kind of being there first. They love him in New York, so it's not like Cat's can ever overtake him. But it's kind of one of those things too, where both guys, a change of scenery, I think, made a lot of sense. Where I mean, we watch Carl play so much. Like, he plays the hits, right? Like kicking the leg out, hooking the arm on the drive, and it's like after a while, you're just like, man, how much more of this can I take, right? So that's fresh for New York. And then we're getting some of the stuff with Julius that they probably were frustrated about. Although, I don't know, are we? Like, the playoff stuff, it's like, well, not from my perspective. I'm pretty happy with what I saw in the playoffs out of him. So, but yeah, Tim has a way of kind of making things work. And, there was a lot of rumors still going around last week, and, backup center, point guard, all that stuff. It's like, let's just pump the brake. No one's really can even make trades until like middle of December anyway. But I still have faith in him to, figure out a path forward if stuff does go off the rails at some point, which I'm not thinking that it's gonna, but yeah, like in Tim we trust, right? And I still go back to that with like Rob, where he's still TBD, but it's like, you know what? Tim traded up for him, so I'm not gonna just say that this guy doesn't have a chance to be something eventually, right? I mean, he hasn't really got a chance, so let's just wait and see.
Yeah. I'm going to run a couple ads here when we come back. What's that, Phil?
I was just going to say, wasn't it Rob like 4 minutes tonight? I'm pretty sure he didn't play in the second half, so.
Yeah.
I don't
trust
think
him
he did
tonight,
either.
I guess. Hey, whatever.
I think that's probably the Rob reality of, they throw him out there, see what he gives them in the first half. If it's really good, run him out the second. If it's, one
he
rebound,
paid the price.
One assist,
he paid the price for that little stretch in the second quarter where Ant and Julius were both out, and Jaden wasn't quite able to carry the load at that point, and Rob was on the court. Yeah. So it's like, well, all right, I think we're going to shelve you tonight. It's not like he did anything terrible, but he wasn't really doing much either. But 4 minutes is tough to really get an idea of what he's got, but he got him in.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you also look, Dante played 37 minutes tonight. He only played, I want to say he only played like 24 yesterday. Like it, when you're giving Rob minutes, they got to come from somewhere. And Dante was having a game. Like, I thought Dante was phenomenal despite, only 4 for 11 shooting. But I'm going to run a couple ads when we come back. I do want to talk to you guys a little bit more about trade talk, because I have also noticed that is all my Twitter feed is right now. But first ads. Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Links podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard, and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. And we're back with another ad read, this time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com. A shout out Benny Hughes, who is going to be on this podcast a week from today. He is going to start off our Canis Hoopus rotation, evidently, as Benny, nice. Mitch, and then Andrew Carlson all come in 3 straight games. But Benny, appreciate you hopping in the chat and at least scouting out what you're about to get into in a week. But let's talk trades, Phil, because I feel like ever since the Ja Morant situation, we could call it a situation, ever since the Ja Morant situation has come up again this year, that is probably every third tweet I run into on Twitter. Do you feel like Ja Morant is like an appropriate addition to this team, or where is your head at in regards to Ja?
Yeah, I like the way you phrase that. I don't know if it's an appropriate one. I guess like Hag said, in Tim we trust, right? If there is a way to pull off a trade for Ja Morant where you're not giving up the house, he forces his way out, I talk myself into that. Obviously, he's a very talented player, and I think the culture we have around here with the coaching staff and all the way up from the owners all the way down to the players with Ant, he could fit in and change it around pretty quickly, I feel like. On the other hand, it's just, do you want that? Do you even want to go down that road in case it doesn't work out? And, he's not a great 3-point shooter, but I mean, it would be fun. I feel like a lot of people would be able to talk themselves into it.
Yeah, the shot making celebrations with Jaden putting the blunt out on the floor, Josh throwing a hand grenade into the crowd, and Ant holstering his SMGs would probably need a little bit of a tweak, but that I mean, I'll be honest, like Ja, I think a lot of his problem is, he's in Memphis. Sounds like the circle of people around him maybe isn't the best circle of people to have around you. You get traded up to Minnesota in December. It's like legitimately hard to get in trouble here. I would kind of assume that settles down, but like my thing is you got to come up with $50 million of salary to match with him, which means someone's going out, which I mean, Matt, I'll just ask you, like, if you're putting together a Ja Morant trade that's appealing for Memphis, so no Rudy, I mean, who would you even be willing to give up at this point?
Yes. See, that's where it gets hard, right? Because like you almost have to put Rudy in there just to make the numbers work. And I think, the Ja thing is enticing just because, or the reason it would be, is that you like him as an asset and you feel like you can get him for a lesser price than he should be going for, I guess. But yeah, if you throw Rudy in there, what's he in the mid-30s or something like that salary wise? But now your defense is just like, I mean, we went over that last night and they mentioned it on the broadcast again tonight, like the on-off stuff if he's not around. And shout out to Rudy, another good game, I thought. But what's the trade package looking like? If you can get to, if you start with like Nas, Dante, Rob, I think you're starting to get into the low 40s maybe. But is it worth all that? Like, I don't know. It's interesting to talk about, and like as soon as we would get him on our team, it'd be a fun team to watch. There'd be like countless highlights, but like, is that is that really getting you past OKC? I don't know that, because that's everything. I grade everything on OKC scale. Like, does this give us a better chance to get past the Thunder? And if we had him, I don't know. Plus, yeah, all the off the court issues and who he's running with. Like, you know, you say Minnesota, you can't get in a whole lot of trouble here. Jordan Addison would disagree with that, but you'll be able to find something out there.
He found trouble in England. That was impressive.
Right. Yeah, that was kudos.
I think the other thing with Ja is, do you consider him a winning player? Because I know these point guard names that came up. We just did one where we ranked 5 potential point guards in a trade, and we talk about LaMelo Ball the same way. I feel like Ja Morant should maybe be talked about. Like, is he a winning basketball player? And I just don't know that he is. They had that one season where they thought they were ahead of the curve, and really they've only beat us, and that was like 4 years ago now.
We let him off the hook, just for the record.
Yeah,
needs and stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, the Ja side of it, like, I was really trying to figure out a trade the other day just to like tweet out like, this is the trade if they're gonna do it, because like Memphis isn't gonna want Rudy. They have Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, why would you want 30-something-year-old Jaren Jackson Jr. and Jaren Jackson Jr.? Like, you wouldn't duplicate that. Julius, I think, is a little too old for them. Like, if you're sending Ja out, you don't want a 30-year-old power forward. It's Jaden. Yep. Like, that would have to be the trade. It would have to be Jaden, Dante, and probably Rob for Ja and maybe a pick. And if you're giving up Jaden, I don't know. I don't know what I honestly don't know how that would change the floor. Like, I don't know. It sounds crazy saying, like, I don't know how much higher the floor would be if you're getting Ja Morant over Jaden McDaniels, but like, I really don't, because then this team's not really deep enough. You probably have like Jalen Clark or TJ in the starting lineup, and like that's not good.
Yeah.
Let me ask both of you guys this: if take the salaries off the table and it's just a 1-for-1 trade, are you even trading Jaden McDaniels straight up for Ja Morant? Because I'm not.
When you put it that way, I mean, it's worth more consideration, I think. But yeah, like, if you're doing a normal trade where you do have to factor in the salaries and stuff, like, I don't want to be throwing Jaden in any trades. That's, to me, a quick hang up. But you're right, Andrew. That is exactly where the conversations will start. Is Jaden, and I think they reported today. There's a couple things I saw on X, so it's true. But it was like the Wolves like checked in on the situation, or checked in on him, which, who knows what the hell that means. But to me, that just like, yeah, Tim's doing his job, right? You should be calling to these.
I'll be honest, these guys are calling people constantly. Like, right. Tim Connolly is probably calling all 29 other teams once a week to check in on everyone. So I don't take a ton into that, but like, yeah.
And Memphis was saying they either want a boatload of picks, which we're not the team that's going to be able to provide that. There's going to be a lot better offers from other teams that have, stockpiled draft picks, or they want to stud young players, which that's Jaden. That's probably the best young asset we have that would, realistically be on the table. And, why would we, switch things up right now? I know we've been to 2 Western Conference finals, and it's easy to just be like, all right, well, we gotta make some kind of change to get over the hump. It's like, you know what? Stay the course maybe is the way to go. These guys are still all pretty young for the most part. So let's just play it out. And it's freaking November 10th. Let's all just chill.
I mean, it's November 10th and they're 7-4. Like, this probably isn't
blow it up.
Exactly. I mean, what I would add to it, and Cole has another comment that I want to get to here too, but like, what I would add to the like the Jaden of it all is like, it would be a tough look to trade Ant's like actual best friend on the team after trading Cat last year. Like, that trade would theoretically probably have to be okayed by Ant. Like, I don't know if the Cat one was, because like that just materialized, but like, if you're trading Jaden, the guy that Ant is constantly hyping up, the guy that's like always next to him, that's tough, right? I don't think it would be, I'll be honest, I'm biased because like I get to talk to these dudes and I genuinely enjoy Jaden as a person. So like I want Jaden to continue being here. But Cole brings a good point up of like, Jaden could get traded in like a Giannis type deal, which I'll be honest, Giannis is close to averaging a 35-point triple double. So I don't know if Giannis is going to get traded, but like that's the only scenario I could see Jaden moving in is like if it's for Giannis, and then it's probably like Jaden, Julius, bunch of other things. But I mean, do you guys see any scenario where, I mean, Cole brings up Naz Reid here too. Do you see any scenario that either of those guys get moved?
Go ahead, Phil.
I mean, if you're saying between the two, I think Naz would definitely get moved ahead of Jaden. But I think that core part of the team is just, they're just together. They're growing together, and I'd rather just see it play out. And you can build around with the margins. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, he traded Cat. So it's like, you know what? I'm not going to say he wouldn't, anything's on the table. Right. And Giannis compared to Ja, like that's a completely different weight class.
Totally.
So
yes,
I'm, if he's available and like they're willing to, discuss whatever trade. Again, I don't know that we're putting the best package. Like if Giannis becomes available, there's just so many better offers that are going to be out there than I think what we'll be able to offer.
Yeah.
But I think the interesting
thing look
now,
at Oklahoma City. Like if Giannis
they
is
wanted
available,
him,
Oklahoma City's like, here's Jalen Williams and 72 first-round picks.
Yeah. Or you want 73? Whatever. Here,
exactly.
Toss another log on the fire. Whatever. So
yeah,
that's interesting. The just thing, that really gets me thinking is like, well, we didn't go in for Kevin Durant really that hard either, right? That would almost been a better route to take, but I wouldn't have put Jaden in that trade either. And that was before what we've seen to start this season. So maybe that's an indication that they're kind of good to roll with this crew for a while, as I think they should. But I mean, everybody likes talking trades, so
I mean that's what it is. It's fun to talk trades, and in the NBA, there's not quite the like in the NFL, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes are never getting traded, right? Like in the NBA, like Giannis might get traded. Like that's fun. Yeah, I would just say for like Luka got exactly like that. I mean, these things happen in the NBA. I would just say like for people that are in here listening that are looking at like trade simulators and stuff, or even like if you see a report that says like the Wolves are interested in X, for that report to be true, it means Jaden's probably in there. And I mean, I'll be honest, like that team views Jaden as a core building block. Like it would have to, like something would have to majorly change for Jaden to be on that. I do want to kind of close with this here. Cole just brings up the bench productivity. I'd love to get your thoughts on it. Like maybe not so much of like who could pop or something like that, because 11 games in, we're starting to build a sample size of like some of these guys. Like Jalen's still going to struggle with his shot. TJ's still going to be kind of hit or miss when he comes back from injury. Rob might not be ready. But like, is there anyone out there like free agents, trade block, good guy on a bad team? We saw Kyle Anderson twice in the last 3 days. Like, is there anyone out there that you feel like would at least bolster it a little bit, Matt?
I mean, I'd have to go through and look around. Like the other thing is like, what can we really even do with the CBA rules, right? We're not at the second apron, right? So I think we still have some of the, flexibility to make trades. And I've even heard people, kicking the tires around of like, well, bring Dante off the bench, right? Just kind of like, manipulating.
Get Mike back in the starting lineup.
Just moving points from one player to another. What are you starting Mike for 2 possessions and then bringing Dante in? Like, look at all these bench points we got all of a sudden. But I almost think
I
like
will just say with the trade stuff quick, they are not in the second apron, but they have like literally 35 cents in wiggle room before being a second apron team. So any trade that they make, I mean, unless it is dollar for dollar match, they have to take back less money, but they could aggregate salaries. However, if they aggregate salaries, they have to leave enough money open to sign a vet minimum guy or convert like a Johnny Juzang. So like they theoretically they could trade for pretty much anyone, but like I mean names I've been seeing out there, I'll just throw out some like Kyle Anderson, Tyus Jones, who's kind of having a pretty bad season in Orlando. Like you look at like a Colin Sexton, I don't know if he does anything for anybody. You know, there's free agents, DeLon Wright still out there. Like there's kind of the same old names that are available every year, it seems like. But, you know, I guess I'll just ask, do you feel like that's even a difference maker at this point to go out and try and get someone?
I think they'll just stick with trying to develop these young guys for now. And some of this is just like the slow start that Nas has had, right? We're used to like a solid 15 out of him. And, you know, he really got off to a bad first week or two. And I mean, he's giving us a little more here, little by little. So I think that'll solve some of it. But I think what the second apron might have done here is revive the buyout market a little bit. And maybe that's what they can explore come, I don't know, after the deadline in February and be like, all right, Terrence still isn't where we want him to be. We still don't know about Rob, Jalen Clark, same thing. Like he can give us good minutes, but not necessarily from a, you know, scoring points perspective. Now let's see what's out there. See if we can get someone on a vet minimum. And you would think this, other than the weather around here, it should be a pretty appealing place for somebody to go to try to get to a winning contending team. So I feel like that might be the card that they would play. But I guess, you know, it's going to depend on where we're standing here in a couple months, I guess. But
well, and to that point, I mean, you could trade TJ and Johnny Juzang as a package, get back some younger player, throw them on a two-way, and then sign whoever gets bought out. And like theoretically it would work. But Phil, how are you feeling about the kind of trade market backup bench situation?
Yeah, it's tough. Like I think like just watching the game tonight, I wanted to see a little more Jalen Clark. I think he played 13 minutes. We struggled in that second quarter for a bit, and I wanted to see him get a little more run. He's feisty, makes things happen. But you know, with TJ out, it's really tough to kind of know where you're at. You've got Nas, you got Mike for 15 to 18 minutes, and then what is after that? Like who's going to show up each night? I think it'd be nice to have maybe a little bit more of a scoring punch if you just can add somebody. But if Nas comes back a little bit and you know, TJ comes and shows a little bit of something when he comes back, I think his biggest thing when Ant was out was he was just trying to do too much rather than just trying to drive to get a bucket, which is kind of what he was doing last year in the playoffs for us. And that's just not, he's just not quite there as like an all around playmaking type of player yet. So we'll see when he comes back, but I think they'll be all right with what they've got.
Do they give Bones a more of a chance then too? That's another guy who's kind of been like in and out, and I don't know that he's the savior by any means either, but he's another guy who's like way younger than you think. But we'll see about that.
I mean, third team in 3 years, delightful guy to talk to. Like I'll be honest, he's another like super polite, nice dude, funny. I mean, the other thing with this team is like at some point this year, like Nas, Rudy, or Randall, someone will miss time and we'll get to see Johan and see how far along he is. Mm-hmm. I would honestly like to see Lenny play basketball for the first time in 3 years.
Real basketball.
Like
he's just in garbage time. Is all we ever see.
Yeah, his entire career. So I mean, I feel like he's kind of in the Josh Minot zone this year where like I could see them not really giving him a chance. He gets bought out and goes to, you know,
Boston,
the Phoenix Suns and starts scoring. Boston. Yeah. They need more Timberwolves players to show out. That's honestly my fear with Rob, though, is like if they do trade Rob, let's say they trade Rob to, I don't know, let's say like the Morant trade does go through and Rob's playing in Memphis where they are not trying to win games. Like that guy can be Cam Thomas. Like he's a gifted scorer. It's just, there's going to be a lot of turnovers and a lot of missed shots to get there. Yeah, it is a weird bench unit that they have. We've hit that 40-minute mark in this podcast though. So I do want to wrap up here. And I do, Phil, since it's your night here on the podcast, I want to give you the opportunity. Matt, I promised I would give you the opportunity as well. But Phil, you first. You're in the top right box, left block box, stage left. You're in the stage left box. Anything you got that you want to promote, any causes you're passionate about, the floor is completely yours.
Just, please understand podcast. If you guys haven't downloaded, subscribe, check it out. We'll be doing a pod, I think 5:30 tomorrow, live on Twitter or X, if you want to call it whatever you want to call it these days. My Twitter is pdog2222, and you can get, please understand, on anything Spotify, Apple, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff, TikTok.
They do. I will tip of the cap to you guys. And I've said this before, I think off air to you, but like your guys' is like short form stuff that you put out on TikTok, like the clips and the reels and stuff is like top notch. So whoever's grinding the tape to put those out,
credit to him.
Yeah,
they're awesome. Like you do such a good job on those.
AI, they're doing a great. Yeah, that's all me. No, I got nothing to plug that you already did.
Chat GBT.
Yeah, they're doing great. They're doing hard work, guys. But yeah, I'm at MNPU podcast. So you pretty much plugged everything I was going to say. I would just to put a bow on the bench thing. We all miss Nikhil. We're feeling the effects of it early in the season, and we're just gonna have to grind through that. But man, every time I've been watching a lot of Hawks games, and now he's injured actually too. So it's tough, man. We miss Nikhil. Like what an awesome player to have, and just to bring off the bench and know you're getting some production. Too bad.
It's so hard because I've watched a couple Hawk games, and I've been like keeping up on like his spot track stuff where you can watch like every possession he's done. And like he was just so perfect in his role on this team. And now the Hawks are like, no Trae Young, gotta have the max from Nikhil. And like he's an awesome bench player. He's an awesome fifth starter. But if you're counting on him to score 25 a night, that's not a good place for Nikhil nor the team, probably.
Yeah, I mean, this is the second apron at work, right? Like we found Nikhil kind of diamond in the rough, and we gotta figure out another one, right? Like that's kind of the process we're going through right now. So I would just be patient. Hopefully one of these guys will pop.
Hopefully. All right. Well, that is it for the Missing Wolves post-game podcast. We are going to be off for a little bit of a hiatus here until Friday when the Kings come to town. As always, what's that?
Isn't that cup play, an NBA cup?
That's cup play.
Showdown.
I will be live from the Target Center. I might have a suntan from how bright that court is seeing it in person. I can't believe that they allowed that to happen.
They were calling Will Hardy the Hulk on the broadcast. Did you catch that tonight because of the green coming off of his face from Friday night?
I thought it was worse in the arena, and then I got home and was watching some of the like Twitter stuff, and it might have been worse on TV, but like with that new lighting they got in there, it is like just like literally looks like a radiation spill. Speaking of the Hulk, but
borrow Ant's sunglasses, wear them indoors.
Maybe Ant can loan me his. I'll see if I can steal a pair before we go in. But that's it for the pod today. We'll be back after Friday's game. Pierre from Fox 9 is going to be joining me. He is a diehard Kings fan, so we can hear all about the Kings and how disappointing this team is probably. But until then, thanks everyone for listening. Go subscribe on YouTube. You can find this tomorrow morning. That would be the 11th anywhere you listen to podcasts. It'll be up there at 7 a.m. And as always, thank you for tuning in.